It's a new era in business. Consumers, employees, and shareholders want to work with others who are socially conscious and have goals that align with their own. Today, tech company 10Pearls announced its acquired social media firm Likeable Media. The combined forces are looking to do business that does good in the world, and it may ultimately be great for their bottom line as well. We're joined now by 10Pearls' new CMO, Carrie Kerpen, to walk us through what purpose-driven technology really looks like. Carrie, welcome to Quick Take. Let's start off with the news of the day, which is this acquisition in the social tech space. What's the big update that you can tell us about 10Pearls?
Thank you so much, Madison. So today, Likeable Media, which is a social media agency, one of the first social media agencies ever in existence, founded in 2007, has been acquired by 10Pearls, which is an end-to-end digital transformation company, meaning that they help brands come to the modern age with using technology.
That's great. And I know that you've done a lot of amazing research in this space as well. So I'm curious, what do you think is the single biggest opportunity that's opened up for brands because of social media in the past few years?
Wow. Well, social media has provided an incredible opportunity for brands to simply listen. They now have a 24/7 chat room from their customers, potential customers, competitors. It's all out there and it's all available. You can listen to people who are talking about your brand or talking about even things that your consumers care about. It gives you immense insight to be able to learn.
Right. And I think that brands may know that logically, right? But then when it comes down to actually doing it in the day to day, they're not quite sure where to start. So in your expert view, what is one thing that you think brands can do today to really increase that two-way communication with their customers?
I think it's first to let their consumers know on the internet that they're actually open to listening, and then do just that. You can set up keywords for things that are interesting, things that your consumers are interested in, things that you want to know about, and just start with listening. It always starts with listening. At Likeable Media, that's what we've done for years and years, and we've turned that listening into actionable content, but it all starts with listening.
So you mentioned you've been doing this listening for a long time now. You've been at this work. What's the number one thing that you've heard consumers say that they want time and time again?
Well, I'll tell you, they want brands to be authentic. They don't want them to be full of it. And I think they can tell right away. And I think today, what's different from what it used to be, they want brands to take a stand around what they care about. The things that they care about, they want to know that the brands that they do business with also care about those things.
And I'm so glad you mentioned that, Carrie, because we've been covering what's been going on in Georgia and the way that corporations and CEOs have spoken out against voter restrictions in the state. Can you talk to me a little bit about how that might be an example of exactly what you're talking about? Because to me, it seems like these corporations maybe waited for their consumers to issue some backlash against their lack of speaking out. Do you think in the future there will be more proactive action from these companies in reacting before their consumers have to tell them to do something?
Yes. I think last summer we reached a tipping point. For years, I've been advising brands on what to say and what not to say in social media, and they have been very, very careful not to say too much about any one issue. Except last summer, that changed. As soon as the racial reckoning happened, as soon as the world started to say, listen, you need to comment on this, brands no longer could remain silent. And you're seeing that now, that Coca-Cola is having to comment on voting rights in Georgia. It's no longer a should we, it's a we have to, and what are we going to say? And brands need a lot of help with that. When we talk about digital transformation as a whole, you know that you have to change from technology, but you also need to change from tone. We have to think about how we are addressing our consumers in an authentic, natural way and tapping into the things that matter to them.
So interesting and helpful, Carrie. I wonder if you can also talk to me about, of course, this is just what consumers want, but it's also good for a company's bottom line to be proactive in this space. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. One of the reasons that as founder of Likeable Media, as co-founder, I was so thrilled to join 10Pearls is that they talked about the double bottom line. Of course, businesses need to make money, but they also need to have a purpose. They also need to care about people. And I think that when businesses do good, clients, consumers, partners all want to do business with them. At Likeable Media, our mission was always to create a more likable world. And now with 10 Pearls, we have a global opportunity to do that.
And I know that you just mentioned this purpose-driven work, and I know that you've been at that with Likeable. And one of your efforts involves rehabilitation and training for formerly incarcerated individuals. Can you tell me a bit about that program?
Actually, this is an amazing program from 10 Pearls. So American Prison Data Systems is an organization that is really focused on reducing recidivism. So what 10 Pearls did, and this was for me like a no-brainer in joining them, because if we're about creating a more likable world, we want to join with a company that shares that mission. They built the learning platform that allowed prisoners to learn, to engage, to interact, and hopefully get enough training so that they do not ever have to return. This is the type of purpose-driven work that I want to align my business with, and I know that my customers want to align with as well.
And like you mentioned earlier, in this kind of two-way conversation with consumers, did what you saw on social media help lead to the creation of that program with 10 Pearls, for example? Did they, look at insights from what consumers were saying they wanted when coming up with this idea?
Absolutely. I think when you look at the overall feeling about prison and what's happening in the world on social media, you can see right away that reducing recidivism is a major, major priority for people everywhere. So I think when you're looking at that, 10 Pearls, now that they have the ability to have a social media firm under their umbrella, they're able to find these insights faster than they ever were before. Digital transformation, technology is one part of it, but it doesn't happen without the end-to-end communication to the consumer. In this case, it was about end-to-end communication with the prisoners and help giving them the assets they need.
Right.
But in every organization, you're able to communicate faster and better with social media.
Yep. And what, quickly in our final minute here, what are you and your company doing internally to promote the ideals of equity and inclusion?
Well, this is why I'm most thrilled to join 10 Pearls for so many reasons. But, the founders had a commitment, a deep commitment to gender equity. And this is a space that I've been in for a long time. Over 1/3 of their engineers in Pakistan are women. This is something that is unheard of. And their deep commitment to gender equity helps us live the values that we want to be able to give to our customers as well. And it just overall helps the mission of making the world a better place and creating a more likable world.
Carrie Kerpen, now CMO of 10 Pearls, really appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Madison.